Ladies and gentlemen, love is one of the most beautiful emotions known to humankind. It's the warmth that holds two people together, the fire that keeps the connection alive, and the gentle wind that helps relationships breathe. But somewhere along the way, many people, especially men, confuse love with obligation. They start treating love as a duty, a never-ending task list to fulfill, just to make the other person happy. And that, my friend, is where everything starts to go wrong. Because no matter how romantic the idea may sound, love is not slavery. When you love someone deeply, it's natural to want to do things for them. You want to see them smile, to ease their pain, to be their strength. That's beautiful. But love should never turn into a situation where one person is giving and the other is just taking. It should never feel like a job where you're constantly trying to impress, constantly trying to fix things, constantly trying to prove your worth. Because the moment that happens, it stops being love and starts becoming servitude. A lot of people wear this suffering as a badge of honor. I do everything for her. I've changed myself completely for her. I give up my friends, my hobbies, my peace just to make her happy. They think this sacrifice is what makes their love pure. But the truth is, that's not love. That's a one-sided emotional investment. And in the long run, it only leads to resentment, frustration, and heartbreak. Love is supposed to add to your life, not take everything away from it. If you're constantly walking on eggshells, afraid to upset her, agreeing to everything just to avoid arguments, that's not love. That's fear wrapped in affection. And real love doesn't operate out of fear. It grows from freedom. Freedom to be yourself. Freedom to express, to disagree, to have your own space and identity. You see, in a healthy relationship, both partners grow together. They support each other, yes, but they don't depend on each other to the point of losing themselves. Your partner is not your project. She's not someone you need to constantly fix or rescue. She's a person with her own thoughts, her own strength, and her own responsibilities. And so are you. If you're bending over backwards, breaking your own spirit just to keep the peace, you're not loving, you're surrendering. People often say, if you truly love someone, you'll do anything for them. That's true, to an extent. But if that anything means ignoring your own needs, sacrificing your mental health, and constantly proving yourself just to feel accepted, then no, love. That's not love. That's emotional slavery. Let me be clear, kindness in love is essential, but it has to go both ways. You're not being kind if you're just enabling someone to walk all over you. You're not being kind if your kindness is rooted in fear or desperation. True kindness comes from a place of confidence, self-worth, and mutual respect. And here's the most important thing. If she truly loves you, she won't want you to become her shadow. She'll want you to shine in your own light. She'll appreciate your efforts, but she'll also check on your well-being. She won't expect you to always say yes. She'll respect your no. That's real love. So don't be afraid to take a step back. Don't be afraid to say, I matter too. Because you do. You're not a doormat. You're not a tool for someone else's happiness. You're a human being full of dreams, flaws, emotions, and value. And you deserve a relationship where your kindness is appreciated, not exploited. Love her, yes. Respect her, absolutely. But don't lose yourself in the process. Because once you do, what remains isn't love. It's just an illusion. A cage decorated with romantic words and empty promises. Remember this. Real love never chains you. It sets you free. Kindness is one of the most underrated superpowers in a relationship. It can melt the hardest hearts, heal the deepest wounds, and bring peace in the middle of chaos. Being kind to someone you love shows maturity, empathy, and emotional intelligence. But like any good thing, even kindness has its limits. Because kindness, when not balanced with self-respect and boundaries, can become a trap. It can turn into a cycle where you keep giving and the other person keeps taking until there's nothing left of you. Kindness is good, yes, but boundaries are better. In any relationship, especially a romantic one, kindness should never be mistaken for weakness. It should not be the reason someone takes you for granted. Many people fall into the trap of overextending themselves in the name of love. They say yes when they want to say no. They suppress their feelings just to avoid conflict. They keep forgiving even when the other person doesn't change. Why? Because they think being kind means enduring everything silently. But that's not kindness. That's emotional self destruction. A lot of people, especially men, are conditioned to believe that being endlessly patient, overly accommodating, and always available makes them a better partner. That if they just give more, love more, and tolerate more, the other person will eventually see their worth. But relationships don't work like that. You can't buy respect with sacrifice. You can't earn love by constantly lowering your standards. True kindness must come from a place of strength, not desperation. You can help your partner through tough times, support their dreams, and be their shoulder to lean on, but not at the cost of your own identity. If your kindness is costing you your peace of mind, your sleep, your self worth, then it's no longer kindness, it's self neglect. Boundaries are not walls that push people away, they are fences that protect what's sacred. They are the line between giving and overgiving, loving and losing yourself. Without boundaries, kindness becomes a habit of self erasure. You begin to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's world. You stop expressing your needs because you're too busy fulfilling theirs. You stop standing up for yourself because you fear they might leave. And in doing all that, you slowly start disappearing. The truth is, when you're always kind without setting limits, you stop being seen as a person with needs and emotions. You start being seen as someone who will always say yes, no matter what. And once that happens, people begin to expect more and more and appreciate less and less. They stop checking in with you. They stop asking how you feel. And one day, you'll wake up and realize that you've built a relationship around their happiness and left yours behind. So, this doesn't mean you should become cold, distant, or selfish. It means you should be kind and assertive. You should be giving and grounded. You should love with an open heart, but not with blind eyes. Kindness doesn't mean you have to be okay with everything. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for both you and your partner is to speak your truth. When you set boundaries, you're not pushing love away. You're making space for real, healthy love to grow. A love that respects your time, your energy, your values. A love that doesn't just take, but also gives. A love where kindness is mutual and not one-sided. So be kind, but don't be afraid to walk away from situations that drain you. Be kind. But don't let that kindness be used as a tool against you. Be kind, but be kind to yourself first. Because at the end of the day, no relationship is worth losing your voice, your dignity, or your peace. Kindness is powerful, but only when it's paired with strength. Boundaries don't make you less loving. They make your love more real, more respectful, and more enduring. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. 1:34 p.m. Adnan. In relationships, one of the most common and often the most damaging behaviors is the urge to fix everything. You see a problem and instinctively, you feel responsible for making it right. It's understandable. We all want to help those we care about, to lift them up when they're down, to find solutions to their struggles. But here's the thing. You're not a therapist, a fixer, or a miracle worker. You are a partner, a companion. And while supporting your loved one is crucial, you must understand that not everything can or should be fixed. We live in a world where constantly told that fixing things is the way to show love and support. If someone's upset, we jump into problem-solving mode. Be a lesson. If they're struggling, you want to immediately find a solution to ease their pain. And while these impulses come from a place of care, they often don't help. In fact, sometimes they can make things worse. Why? Not every problem needs a solution, and not every situation calls for action. Sometimes what your partner really needs is not a fix, but understanding, compassion, and space to deal with things in their own time. You see, relationships are not about you becoming the one person who fixes everything. They are about two people coming together to support each other, to share the weight, but also to allow each other to learn, grow, and navigate their individual challenges. The urge to fix comes from a desire to make things better, but it's important to recognize that not all problems are yours to solve. Sometimes, the best way to show love is to let go of the need to do something and simply be there. When you try to fix everything, you you inadvertently take away your partner's agency. You make it seem as if they can't handle their own issues, which over time can lead to feelings of inadequacy, frustration, and resentment. Imagine being in a relationship where every time you face a challenge, your partner swoops in with a solution before you've even had the chance to fully express what's bothering you. It doesn't feel supportive. It feels controlling. It makes you feel unheard, unseen, and invalidated. Furthermore, the constant need to fix can lead to burnout. When you're always playing the role of the problem solver, you end up carrying the emotional weight of both yourself and your partner. This can lead to exhaustion, resentment, and a sense of imbalance in the relationship. You might start feeling like you're doing all the emotional heavy lifting while your partner gets to sit back and simply receive. This imbalance can erode the foundation of the relationship, leaving both parties feeling dissatisfied and misunderstood. The other problem with constantly trying to fix everything is that you may miss the point. Not every issue in life requires a solution. Sometimes the process of struggling, of feeling lost, of being vulnerable is just as important as the solution itself. It's in these moments that people grow, reflect, and gain deeper insight into themselves. If you're always there to step in and offer a solution, you're robbing your partner of the chance to learn from their own experiences. Personal growth is just as important as shared growth. Moreover, trying to fix everything can create a power imbalance. If one person is always the one fixing things, it can lead to a dynamic where the other person feels incapable or dependent. This dependency is not healthy for either partner. Healthy relationships are based on equality, mutual respect, and interdependence, not on one person always assuming the role of the fixer. When you let your partner tackle their own problems, you allow them to be their own person, to build their own strength, and to develop a sense of competence and confidence. Sometimes the best way to love someone is not by trying to solve their problems, but by offering your presence, your listening ear, and your empathy. Ask them how they feel and give them space to process. Offer a comforting word, but don't rush to offer a solution unless they ask for it. Let them lead the way when it comes to solving their own issues. The most important thing you can do is show up without judgment, without an agenda, just as someone who cares. It's also worth noting that your partner may not even want you to fix things. They might simply want you to listen, to understand, and to offer emotional support. By assuming that they need your help, you might be neglecting their need for emotional connection, which is ultimately more important than any solution you can provide. So, stop trying to fix everything. Relationships aren't about playing hero or savior. They're about partnership, mutual respect, and allowing each other to grow individually and together. Sometimes the best way to show love is by stepping back and letting your partner navigate their own path. Support them, yes. Encourage them, absolutely. But trust that they are capable of handling their own challenges. And when you do that, you'll not only strengthen the relationship, but also empower both yourself and your partner to be more than just fixers. You'll become true partners. Knowing your worth is one of the most powerful, liberating things you can do for yourself in any relationship. Yet, it's something that many people struggle with, often giving up their self-esteem and self-respect in an effort to please others, particularly in romantic relationships. The need to feel valued, appreciated, and loved is universal. But sometimes we forget that these feelings should come from within first. Understanding and valuing your own worth isn't just a step towards self-love. It's an essential part of creating a healthy and balanced relationship. Too often, people allow their self-worth to be defined by external sources, by how others perceive them, by how much they give, or by how much love and validation they receive in return. This is dangerous. When you measure your value based on how others treat you, you give up your own power. Your happiness becomes contingent on someone else's actions, and this is a precarious foundation for any relationship. The truth is, your worth isn't dependent on what anyone else thinks or how much you give. It's intrinsic, it's inherent, and it doesn't fluctuate based on external validation. Many of us were taught to be kind, selfless, and accommodating, values that are essential, but they can also be manipulated. There is a fine line between being caring and overextending yourself to the point where you lose sight of your own needs. When you don't know your worth, it becomes easy to fall into patterns of people pleasing, sacrificing your own well being to make others happy. You begin to think that you're only valuable if you give everything, every time without asking for anything in return. But that's not love. That's self erasure. You start to lose yourself in trying to meet everyone else's expectations, and in the process, you forget to meet your own. You are not a commodity to be bartered. You are not an accessory to someone else's life. You are a whole person with your own dreams, goals, fears, and desires. Your worth is not defined by how much you do for others or how much others need you. It's defined by who you are, how you treat yourself, and the love you show yourself. You are valuable simply because you exist. Once you understand this, you begin to make decisions from a place of empowerment, not desperation or insecurity. When you know your worth, you stop tolerating behavior that diminishes you. You stop allowing people to treat you in ways that are unkind, disrespectful, or dismissive. You stop accepting crumbs when you deserve the whole cake. You stop accepting relationships that drain you, take more than they give, or make you feel small. Because when you know your worth, you understand that you deserve a relationship that nurtures you, that makes you feel seen, valued, and loved. You deserve a partner who respects you as much as you respect yourself. Knowing your worth means not allowing anyone to undermine your self-esteem or diminish your confidence. It means standing up for yourself when someone crosses boundaries, and it means saying a no without guilt when something isn't right for you. It means not settling for less than you deserve. Even if the world around you is telling you that you should settle, be patient, or wait. It means recognizing that your needs, your feelings, and your well-being are just as important as anyone else's. When you know your worth, you stop chasing people or situations that don't serve you. You stop chasing after validation or affirmation from others, because you no longer need that external approval to feel good about yourself. You understand that your value doesn't come from anyone else's perception of you. Instead, it comes from how you view yourself. The right people will recognize your worth. They will treat you with the respect and admiration that you deserve. But more importantly, you won't settle for anything less. This isn't about arrogance or narcissism. It's about having a healthy level of self-respect. It's about knowing that you are worthy of kindness, love, and happiness. It's about building a sense of self-worth that isn't shaken by the ups and downs of life or the actions of others. It's about being able to say, I am enough. I am worthy of everything I desire, and truly believing it. When you don't know your worth, you end up in situations where you're constantly trying to prove yourself. You end up overcompensating in relationships, giving more than you should, and accepting less than you deserve. But when you know your worth, you walk into every situation with confidence, because you know that you bring something valuable to the table. You're not looking for someone to complete you. You're looking for someone who complements the fullness that already exists within you. To truly know your worth is to be at peace with yourself. It's to love and accept yourself unconditionally, to stop seeking external validation, and to stop apologizing for who you are. When you truly know your worth, you attract the kind of people and experiences that reflect your own value. You stop tolerating disrespect, and you start setting the standards that are right for you. At the end of the day, knowing your worth is not just about relationships with others. It's about the relationship you have with yourself. It's about honoring yourself, respecting your own needs, and giving yourself the love and care that you deserve. And once you do that, everything in your life will start to change. You will no longer settle for less than you deserve, and the right people will be drawn to the strength and confidence you radiate. The more you know your worth, the more the world will recognize it too.